or setting up my meeting. I think it's possible that I've been sitting here looking at my screen for a few minutes. I'm still trying to get used to loading this up. Greetings, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy first day of spring. That's right. You made it through the winter. Congratulations. Now the year's really going to get to be a lot of fun going forward here, isn't it? Things will start waking up. The trees will start smelling good, flowers, all that stuff. Yeah. It's hiking season too. Looking forward to that. Well, I'm going to launch right into the reason I'm doing this weekly. I think this is the first scheduled one. I did jump on a week ago, but there wasn't any particular order or agenda. What I'd like to do is kind of start something new here, and let's see if we can get a little routine going. For the time being, tax season, first big piece of news is that tax season is longer now. That's right, it's going to be 2 more months. Because May 15th falls on a Saturday, they have actually extended it 2 more days to May 17th. So your tax season is now an additional 32 days longer. That doesn't mean to procrastinate and put it off, particularly if you're getting a refund. I can't say this enough. If you're pretty confident you've overpaid on wages, file now, because the longer it sits, the less spending power you have of your own money. They've already been holding on to it all year. So file that puppy. Excuse me a second. Okay, better. Now I would like to see if, click to expand. Okay. Hang on a second here. Okay, so I believe I'm still live, and I don't know how this is going to look. This will get smoother as we go. But one of the big things I want to talk about, of course, was the extended filing season. Ostensibly, the idea behind that, and if you believe Chuck Rettig, who is the commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service, we're trying to do taxpayers a solid by giving them longer to come up with the money to pay their tax. Another month should help, and for a lot of people, that will be in fact the case. But I think another thing is they've got so many changes going on that the extra month is actually going to assist them with logistics as well. So, but I can't stress that enough. If you do have a pretty confident feeling you're going to be getting a refund, get your return in as soon as absolutely humanly possible. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the unemployment exclusion. What we have with our new ARP 21, that's the American Recovery Plan. I was calling it ARPA, but thing is, it's no longer really an act once it's a law, right? But I don't know, maybe it's an act. So they're acting like they know what they're doing. So let's go ahead and we'll call it ARPA 21, okay? American Recovery Plan Act of 2021. And one of its many features is that the first $10,200 that each taxpayer received in unemployment benefits is now tax-free. And the paperwork is caught up now, so that for any returns that I'm filing, as a matter of fact, since about Tuesday or Wednesday, they actually have a line where that $10,200 is subtracted if you receive more than. Some questions about this. Is there a phase out for it? Actually, there isn't. There's a solid line under which you receive it. If you made $150,001 in 2020, you don't get it at all. No phase out. It's like top of the line, bottom of the line. If you made 150K even or lower, and as far as I know, that doesn't double for married filing joints. So both you and your spouse can have unemployment benefits, and you can each get the $10,200. but your joint return has to be under the 150. Sorry about that. It's just the way the law is written. It wasn't my idea. So, but in any event, yes, I do actually have some two spouse returns where one had over 10,000 and another made about 5,000 bucks. So the 10,200 will not be taxed for the one, and the entire 5,000 for the other will not be taxed. And so that ends up to be a $15,200 exclusion. Now what that means is you're reducing your taxable income by that amount. But if you're in even the lowest 10% bracket, $15,200 equals $1,520 in refund. Okay, so that's tax money you're no longer paying. If you owed $1,500 and suddenly that comes along, and again, suddenly you owe nothing. So there is that. The big thing to talk about with this is, well, I wanted to file because 2020 wasn't as good a year in case there's more economic impact payments coming. And in fact, everybody got one this week. My wife and I got ours on Tuesday. And the question will arise, I already filed, so now what? Because I had like $14,000 in employment exclusions. Here is the most recent wisdom, and I literally just read this morning in the IRS newsroom. Do not file an amendment. They have the ability to actually mine the data that they collect from us, and they can, in fact, create refund checks. They'll probably come with some kind of explanation letter. What the feeling is right now is that's going to happen in some fashion like that, but they are stating without any hesitation or qualifications, don't file amendments for it. And I'm going to ask you not to do that also, and I'll tell you why. It will slow down the processing of all the returns that they're already getting. So there is a possibility that they don't know exactly how they're going to do it or how long it'll take them to do it, what the background process is going to be for that. I'm going to be interested in it, and I'll talk about it more next week when I learn more. So I'll certainly share that with you. So I am, in the meantime, looking at the Facebook thingy here and kind of hoping the comments will come in. I'm not sure how this works. And if anybody has, sorry, no phone calls during the meeting. So if anybody that views this later has any comments or suggestions on how to do a Zoom live, I'm figuring this out week by week, but every week on Saturday at noon, Mountain Daylight Time, and that's going to be 11 Pacific and 2 p.m. if you're out in New York City or Florida. We're going to be doing this every single week. Thought crossed my mind, well, as the weather gets nicer, I might want to go for a hike or a drive or something like that. I'll do it on my phone. So we'll just go ahead and we'll do a Facebook Live. Smartphone lives actually are easier, but the reason that I'm trying to do the Zoom thing is I want to have the capability to share things. And in fact, let me go ahead and I'm going to throw something up here now. So it will help me to test and see how smoothly this goes. My demonstration screen is above the camera, so I'll be showing you a little bit of my neck here for a second. And we're going to go to IRS Newsroom. I was just there, so there are some handy things here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share screen, and let's see if you're seeing what I'm seeing. I'm going to scooch something off so I'm able to see the whole thing. So one thing is there is an economic impact payments website. This thing was down for a while. Now this is basically information. No action needed for impact payments, but I have actually had somebody crawl out of the woodwork and ask, well, what if I haven't filed taxes for a couple, 3 years? Well, there is a way to get payments for non-filers, and there's a Get My Payment website. If you go into something like this, irs.gov/coronavirus, should have the Get My Payment button on it. Oh, Get My Payment tool. See this? So you could probably type IRS Get My Payment into Google search if you don't want to remember all this stuff later. And if you go to the Get My Payment tool, I believe this thing's working now. Go on in here and you enter your social number, date of birth, street, and zip code. You do not have to have filed an income tax return to get your payment. Okay, so keep that in mind. And let me go off share now. Stop share. So there was one more thing I wanted to talk about this week, and my golly, I had it written down. Let me see if it's on another one of my screens here. One thing I will cover today, while I'm waiting for people to ask me questions, and if you have a question, please pop it in. That's part of why I'm doing this. That's a big reason why I'm doing it. I want to kind of create an interaction with everybody. So one of the things that is going to come up sooner or later is, are they extending corporation and nonprofit returns? The Form 990 is for nonprofits, 501c3s, other 501c organizations. Those are normally due the 15th day of the 5th month, May 15th for most of us. And the C Corporation, which is a Form 1120, remember those are standalone entities and pay their own tax. They are due normally the same day of the 1040, which is April 15th. The corporation due date remains April 15th, pending future updates. But the only thing that's been extended to May 17th is the Form 1040 IRS for individuals and families. Okay, so let's make that clear. In fact, I've got corporation filings coming up. Any extensions that we file, by the way, the 6-month extension, it's going to be in effect 5 months if it's for a 1040, because it will still have an October 15th deadline if you do an extension. And I can't stress this enough, extensions are an extension to file. They are not an extension to pay. If you owe money, especially if it's over $1,000, you want to send them a check with that extension, because otherwise you're going to be looking at interest and penalties every month that you wait to file. So it's important that you understand that extension to file is only an extension to file. You still have to pay what you owe. What do I do for my clients? Basically, I will take a quick and dirty look at their income and revenues, revenue and expenses situation, and run it through an estimator without going through all the work of doing an entire tax return, and come up with some number that I can give them to recommend to make as a payment. And if I do your extension for you, we can actually do direct debit of your payment, or I can teach you how to make it right on April 15th. Excuse me, May 17th. The extension to file 1040 is also an extension to pay, but just for that 1 month. The IRS deadline extension, I mean to say. Now, if you file a regular Form 4868 extension, it's still October 15th, and you have to pay by May 17th. So was that all clear as mud? Was that super helpful? Sorry if it wasn't, but one of the things I do like to do is try to prepare a little bit, make some notes for these things. But honestly, I'm also struggling with making sure that I make this public. So that's one of the other things that I'll be taking a look at once I wrap up for the day and post this. So let's see, I did want to, something else I want to cover. Hang in there with me a second. I'll pull up my notes. There's always something. Let's see, let's do that. Okay. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me click around on my computer too much longer. It was business related. One thing, of course, with the news of the May 17th extension coming in late, it basically happened this week. So if you, in fact, did not file your partnership return or your S-Corp return yet, and you haven't done an extension, you're already late, do something now. You owe interest and penalties for each month or portion of a month that you're late doing so. So if you need to do a partnership return or an S corporation return, those were due on March 15th. Make darn sure that you've done either an extension or actually done the filing by April 15th. Okay, super important that you do that. You're going to have interest and penalties if you're already late doing that. If you're one of my people, I push to make sure that your extensions are done. And if you're watching this and you're my client, you're okay. All my extensions have been accepted, so yes. With that, 16 minutes in, and to the best of my knowledge, still trying to figure out this whole thing, but I don't have any comments dropping in. So next week, we'll be having my wife watch from another room and we'll test it. I should have thought of that today. She was sitting here just 10 minutes ago. So in any event, everybody have a happy spring. Winter's over, and get out and do something if you can. Get some fresh air. I know that most of the states don't have any mandate on outdoor recreation as far as COVID and all that stuff. And if you are eligible to get your shot, go for it. Sooner everybody gets that accomplished, the sooner things get back to some amended version of normal. Okay, so I got my first one yesterday, and guess when I'm getting my second one? I'll leave you with a funny story here. So I go in and they do all the things that this is what it does. Here, read this. It's not approved by the FDA, but it will help you and blah, 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 And it went nicely. It was very quick. They made me sit in a room for 15 minutes. I was like, when 15 minutes are up, you can get up, leave on your own. So that's all great. But I got to choose my appointment, and they said the dates we have open right now are April 15th, 16th, or 17th. And I said, well, I can't do April 15th. I was like, wait, I can. It's not the deadline anymore. So that's when I'm getting my second shot. It's actually going to be on the old tax day. So I will be immune 2 weeks after that, and really looking forward to that. But for my part, it's my understanding that, let me talk about this just for a minute. If you watch this far, thank you so much. Here's the thing. If somebody else breathes their COVID cooties on you and they get into your system and you've been inoculated, well, you'll get a lot less sick, is my understanding, but you can still carry it and give it to other people. So I will continue to mask up when I go out for the foreseeable future. The whole thing is you have less fear of actually landing in the hospital on a respirator and possibly dying, which is a very real concern for people over 60. So, and I hear you saying, what, you're over 60? There's no darn way. With that, I'm going to sign off for now. Watch this thing and see how it went. And this will improve week by week. We will be doing Tax Talk every Saturday at straight up noon Mountain Daylight Time until at least the end of tax season. The final Saturday before the 17th is actually May 15th. So tune in next week, and we'll have a more clear agenda and hopefully some people on here asking some questions, because that's the whole idea. We're looking forward to helping as many of you as possible. And until next week, stay safe and healthy and do something kind for a stranger, okay? Take care and so long for now. Bye-bye.